Live.
We're live, baby.
We're live and
We're
we're
live.
back
We're back.
this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
Welcome back to our Genesis to Revelations
Welcome.
epic.
Epic Explorations.
That's right.
Genesis 2, Revelations, Epic Exploration. That's our travel channel.
Yes.
And we have just started putting content on this channel, so we need your support. And ask you just to look at our content and leave a comment. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, and be able to get more content and content that's already there.
We started the series, so this is the third part, season 1, and this is episode 3. We've been kind of cataloging our journal from our trip to South Africa and Africa, the continent, bringing you inspiration. And so this week's segment, we're going to talk about things that we were inspired by. And as I'm telling you some things about Africa, and my husband is sharing, he's going to show some clip of the content on what we were talking about to just kind of bring you up to speed and get you on board with what we're trying to do. So we were inspired, first of all, for me, I think it was nature. Were you inspired by nature?
Oh, yes. I was inspired very much so by nature.
Living in Las Vegas, nature is not one of the all over. You're going to see nature everywhere, and even without trying. And even though we did go to some inspirational places, but without trying, there, nature's all around, from the birds to the greenery. The season that we went this was summertime, and it's just beautiful, breathtaking. And so my husband's going to bring you a few clips from the places that we visited and things that we saw, and he should be rolling those up very soon. But I tell you one thing, from living in the desert in the States
to being in Africa,
in the continent, there is a huge, huge, huge difference. And you felt it the moment that you got there. You could feel the freshness in the air, from the soil to just the air. That was the most important part.
Please don't drop your phone.
Lions.
Stay out there. The other day, someone dropped his phone, but without knowing that he dropped it. We drove, but we were not out yet. He said, no, I lost my phone. So we came back looking for the phone. Then we found the lion is busy. He was just making his teeth work. He dropped it. We picked up the phone, but it has balls.
I'll show you another clip.
The lion was trying
Pause
to.
This.
So this one was of the Lion Reserve, and all 14 of us were there and taking pictures as our tour guide was giving us information on all of the different places in the reserve. Now this compound is an open compound, so you see that the lions and
Actually, they are found in Africa.
These are hyenas.
They are related to the wolves, but not the same species. Right, so African wild dogs are critically endangered.
To our vehicle, we were right there.
They were very
The
curious.
reason why they are
Like they were
critically
tracking
endangered
us for their dinner.
is because they die easily
They weren't.
from different
I'm just
diseases.
playing.
Yeah, they weren't hostile.
And also, farmers were hunting dogs
And the
at
reason
some
why
stage, thinking that dogs are finishing their livestock like goats and sheep, so they were killing them for that.
Non-predatory meat, like
Wild
cow or
dogs,
sheep, or
they spread
so
the
they keep
disease
them
amongst
hunting each other.
themselves easily is because of how the dogs are
Yeah,
behaving.
They have their own food.
You find that if they are
they do
doing
the
nothing,
box.
you see, they lick each other, they sniff each other, and the worst part of the dogs is that they do regurgitate the food for each other. So when they go hunting, other dogs who stay at home where their den is, because maybe they have puppies, they can't go hunting. Sometimes they can't go hunting maybe because they're injured.
Okay.
The guys who go hunting, if they make a kill, they bring the food home to the other guy.
Moving to the next video. So for me, just looking, we love to go to the mountains, right? In Las Vegas, that's our go-to, the mountains. We used to go to the lakes sometimes, but finding places where you can get nature is kind of, I'm not saying we don't have any, but for this place, there was nature.
Please don't drop your phone.
Stay out there.
Go to a lion reserve, even if you just went outside of a restaurant, and we'll show you the differences. But there was so much to do, and all of us.
Right. It was amazing.
Those are wild boars.
Yeah, wild boars. Not a park that you can walk in. And the thing is, I like to see about how our creator actually has these creatures that he created out behind in nature, but not in a cage. There's no animal that needs to be caged up that was a wild animal. That's my opinion.
Well, first of all, this is their nature.
Exactly.
They were doing for us.
Right.
Africa, motherland, this is their home. And what they've done is they've preserved for them on their own land so that they won't be invaded. And then we have an organization that's not, something that's going to disturb their natural life, their predatory life to hunt, to mate, to do those things. And I think that that's good because we need, as human beings, we should be assisting.
We should.
We should be assisting in every area. I mean, I don't care if you live in the desert and whatever the natural habitats are there. We should be doing the same thing. And then next for me, I don't know, but when we're here in the Vegas and we have culture here, but to go home and find culture, I was inspired by culture.
Me too.
Culture was everything there because that's something as African living in America, we have our own culture, but it's been modified and dumbed down.
Very much so.
And we did an excellent job. I'm not putting us down. We've done an excellent job to bridge the gap. And the gap beginning with, most of all, with slavery. But their culture begins with, the ancestors, the kings and the queens, which is our culture.
Exactly.
As well as the fact that you feel it in the air. And I know that we have some clips to just
we do.
Enjoying the culture without freedom to think about, is this out of place? Is it inappropriate? If it's not Black History Month, it's every month, it's every day. So it's culture at its best and at its finest. And you didn't feel a sting from it to say that, yes, you know what, I'm learning this, but I have a crunch to do something about it because I have 29 days in the month of February to do my part to learn about my culture. Culture is every day. Culture is just living and seeing your families. Culture is everything that we can think of, and hopefully, that's
the tall building from the right. It is, if you can see, there's a reddish color on the top.
We're taking a tour here.
That one, it used to be the tallest building.
This is I'm gonna turn down the sound, mute the sound for you for a little bit. So this guy's name is Nelson, and he has extensive history about the cultures in South Africa. So he's given us this tour, and he's speaking to a speaker to let us know as we're riding. We're not just riding in a vehicle, just looking. Everything in Africa has a story behind it, has a history. Significant history. So he's giving us.
I think we were going towards Soweto.
Right.
After that, they introduced
All of it was interesting facts.
shopping mall, which one is in the east, one in the north, south, and west. So they were all called according to where they are situated from the city. On our left, there's a big amusement park, Gold Reef City. That is where there is Apartheid Museum.
Apartheid Museum.
The biggest shaft, the biggest gold reef was mined around this area. The 17,
every culture,
the 12, the 13.
Everyone there they're on point to tell you something that you don't know, something that could relate to your history. It's not relating to someone else's history. It was relating to our history. And I think that's what we find most important. It's because this is relating to our history. Now we're at this is a park in the fairground.
Right.
But it's actually like going into
What happened?
The market.
It's a market. Yeah. So
All right, baby, let's go. You know how we do it.
so we're just kind of enjoying going through.
Oh, this looks cute. Look at this little place.
Plant stands. There's department market. Band up there.
Yes. All different types of food.
Hi.
It was a beautiful place. With the family.
That's right, Journey. It's your home too.
It's amazing. We all got a chance to enjoy it.
Do you like it?
It's a normal thing.
Yeah, it is. Every day.
Wonderful thing. Your lunches or even a bar and a restaurant. More food stands. You want to walk through those portions as well.
What I like about it is that telling the myth that news channels show about how Africa, Christian organizations were depicting that same thing, like Africa is a dark continent full of chaos.
And be fearful for your life if you're there, because you're just going to need to have, even though we did have a security detail, you can see him right there with us. We had a security because, again, we had different reasons to be there. Some of us doing more business things. But the thing I want to say about
their love.
that had lesser than standard housing compared to some others, because there's very wealthy and then there's also the very poor. But I saw community, and then I found out with that in the culture
Right.
that these people that live there sometimes in these little places that look very
Corrugated
uninhabitable.
housing.
Right, that they were temporary places because a lot of these people stayed in the city because they work in the city.
Exactly.
So this is their temporary abodes that they lived in, and then they all had what they call their villages. They go home to their villages. That's where a lot of their elderly people live. The younger people work and they stay in the cities, and they raise up generations to go and to work for the same companies to do things. So they have quite an order. And it was a beautiful, honorable order. And the older people, as they said, as they retire, their dream is to just go stay in their country homes, and then they call them villages.
All right.
Yeah.
I wanted to say too about the comparison here in America, where you have the rich, the poor, and the one percenters, and you have, at least here in Las Vegas, over 5,000 people living in the street. No, I'm sorry, 53,000 people.
Yeah.
Here in Las Vegas on the streets.
Right.
Now in Africa, you didn't see that, period. You saw the poor, and you saw neighborhoods where it wasn't about if you were black, you couldn't live in a neighborhood that was affluent. That type of racism doesn't exist in Africa. Now there is some racism, so I don't want to get
in different parts
mislead you.
with the
But
colonization.
but if there's a nice neighborhood and there's whites living there, and believe me, their numbers are about maybe 15 to 20% on the whole continent. So everything on Africa is like me, black. But they get along this way. If you live in an affluent neighborhood and you can afford to be there, they don't care what color you are.
And more than that, the 8% of the non-black population that's in Joburg, they do have a lot of ownership, and they do. There's old money, because this is the people that actually enslaved. So the Transatlantic Slave Act,
Right.
the Dutch, the Portuguese. But the point is that there's more expats moving from all over the world, not just
All
from
over
America.
the world.
And they're coming in with business innovations and ideas. So there is lots of also Africans from not America, but
Yes.
Africans from all over the
From
globe.
the UK,
Yes.
from Germany,
And
everywhere, they're coming back home.
yes, and they're doing a fantastic job as well. They're doing a fantastic job. But also what I find is that more than anything with the tourism, everybody's finding a way to realize that, number one, this is our continent. Number two, taking it back with expertise to say that we're going to do a better thing. And I like the fact that that's what they're doing, you know.
All right, I'm going to show a little more of this clip here. And we're at the farmer's market
Start shooting.
and market.
There you go. You good.
I'm your
Yep.
second photographer.
You're my
now?
assistant, right?
How I get this job?
Yeah. Hey, it's good. That means I'll be running content. When you see it on YouTube, you know, you say, I did that.
I did that.
All you gotta do is hit the on button right here.
Oh, yeah, teach me.
Excuse me.
Take whatever picture you want.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to take other stuff?
We are going to
King,
move on.
you can do this.
This is my grandson, Kingston, our grandson.
I can just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Letting him use my Nikon D7100 so he can be creative. And some of his content also will be edited into the content that I have been shooting myself. So that would be good for him, because he can understand that there's possibilities in being able to show you your gifts. And he's very good with DSLR or Nikon 71. He has an eye for stuff. I'll give him that. And
I love the fact that they're young and they're willing. And our grandsons are just taking and adapting to doing all of this like it's nothing, and it's amazing.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And you're
Right.
in,
Yep.
we have a program
Yep.
here, here in North
My grandson.
we call it Our Back to Eden Urban Homestead, and that's one of our other channels also.
I feel
But
like a pro photographer now,
we
don't I?
Yeah.
have terraformed our
Yeah.
property that we got in 2017.
Yeah, you are.
That had all
Carlos,
desert
say, yeah, you
landscaping, and we turned it into an Eden. And little did we know, on our front porch, there is a stamp, a natural stamp in cement, state the continent of Africa. But we didn't know it until it got wet and then it started drying. Everything around that area was dry. I had
Did you hear Harlow? Yeah, we can't stay here forever, right?
right.
Like, just in case you might say,
But my point is that all this time, in the 8 years, in the next few years,
And he's good too.
stamp of Africa. It's a natural of Africa.
Yeah, he's my assistant.
It does. And then you wrote your
And he's
book
good.
20 years ago,
Yes, logos.
Logos of Africa. So our creator, Yahweh, was giving us this is
are you happy?
this is where you're going.
You know she is.
It's mind blowing to
We were
put
plant junkies.
Okay.
And then, well, I'm not sure if you have that clip where there was an interview by the culture with Nelson. the
Yeah,
interview.
I do have that.
Yeah,
Let
and
me-
so with that being said, with the culture, we were actually, I got a chance to do what I do with herbs, and that's my field. I wanted to talk about some of the things with the healers there, and I had a chance to interview. Actually, his name is Nelson.
Wicked, you know, and I've
This interview.
always wondered
Here's the
about
clip.
voodoo. I never thought of it as being evil unless the person was evil.
The way we were introduced, or the way the modern life were introduced to us, that collision, it hit us very hard because we never have a good way of communicating,
Yes.
where we understand each other in languages. We just believe that everything is true as
Yes.
they are coming from the modern,
Yes.
as it was called modern.
Right.
But later on, that's when we know that no, we were right, everything we're doing it perfectly. So, and I think there was this thing of not respecting the culture of other
Yes.
people
I definitely know
and
that.
try to
be true.
conquer them by making them to dump everything and forget about everything and start a new life. When they're busy learning that life, that's when they get controlled.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So that's how we lost everything.
Still
And
do.
Very wise man.
yeah, so now we look at back at where we're coming from to where we are. We are a very lost nation.
Yes, we are.
We are very lost.
Yeah, we're all over. We're scattered
Yeah.
amongst the earth, and we're a lost nation. But I do believe we're coming together.
Yeah.
I do believe it may not be in my lifetime, but I'm hoping in my children's and our grandchildren. That's why me and my husband, we decided to come to South Africa.
Yeah.
Our children decided that that's what they want.
Amazing.
So that's a small clip. We do have another one. Let me bring that up too. That was
So on my journey, I'm seeking out the indigenous herbs from my ancestors. Our ancestors has been so important to, connect the dots. And it's amazing because a lot of these things, you won't believe, most of these things they're already using. And these big companies have control over these herbs, but they put them down as low key. And their main key ingredients are the ones that they use
So
in
this
import
tree
them. But they don't find a way to
is
import
known
them so they can make
as
massive
tree
money off.
that
Right.
gets
Nothing
all
that-
the evil things out of your body.
And this is so amazing to me. Everyone hear this, the evil things, but what
they-
is illness? Is illness evil?
plants.
Yeah.
What they do to the plants is that they take out the constitutes, and they don't get the whole plant. You're the herbalist, so you know this.
Well, he was explaining, so
Right.
I was listening to
Oh.
him. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, they take out the constitutes. They take out the main ingredients, and what they do is they'll take out something just like from the periwinkle, which is Madagascar.
Right.
The Madagascar.
Mhm.
We buy that all the time. It's Vinca major.
Right.
Vinca. and they take out the vinpocetine
Okay.
in that, and they'll isolate. It's an isolate. They'll take that isolate out and say, "This is wonderful medicine. Let us use this." But then we're going to put in 1,000 fillers,
right.
which makes them money because these are things that are additives, things that are
Toxic.
not going to, forever chemicals,
Right.
and things that you can't even pronounce. So by the time that they get through dumbing down this beautiful medicine that our Creator Yahweh made,
Right.
it's not the same.
It's not.
The same thing with Valium. They say, well, Valium, it actually comes from a plant. Digitalis, Foxglove, most of your medicines, they know that. But then we have all of these different tribes that speak different languages. So if you have some person coming in and they're doing a National Geographic documentary,
Right.
they're coming in, oh, this is wonderful. We're just categorizing. Now, mind you, this does not start with National Geographic. So I have nothing against them. This started way back in the slave trade. This started when they said a person was going to go and discover America, which we know he did in Columbus.
Right.
And Americo Vespucci, whatever his name is. All of these people were commissioned by the Queen,
Right.
to go out and
True.
do this job, to get spices from the different places,
Yes.
and bring back these plants to the Queen, so she could then take the claim.
Right.
She could then find a way to be a business broker and to make the money. And then they found, and it's all about greed. Then they found a way to dumb that down by
They did.
adding in, saying, we just don't want to do that because if we're curing people, then we won't have any customers.
Exactly.
So let's take that ingredient. We'll use it to make a little bit of a difference, but it won't be a cure. So, when people say things, but I want to say the difference. There's a such thing as an herbalist. I'm an herbalist, but there are
A certified practicing herbalist.
always, and I'm always going to be practicing. And the thing is, with herbs, I wanted to connect the dots to the portion that he mentioned, which I am never just saying I'm an herbalist. I'm a healer.
And you're a doctor.
I'm a healer.
Yes, you
I
are.
call it a healer. I don't have a physical. I don't have a doctor's license to
Right.
be called, quote unquote, a medical doctor that has went to school for 8 to 15 years. I did not do that.
Right.
But I have studied herbs for over 25 years, and I do that. But healing is mental,
Right.
metaphysical. It's spiritual as
Yes.
well. And I'm not afraid of demons because I know who I serve and who I belong to.
Mm-hmm.
And they demonize things with
They
effect.
do.
So you'll say, "Oh, I'm not doing that because I'm a believer, and that's evil." And so we get caught up on
Right.
names and stereotypes, and we're all afraid of each other. Like, well, you're evil. We do no less than what our slave masters did by burning people on the cross and saying you're a witch. If you're an evil person, I don't care what you do, whatever you eat, whatever you drink is gonna be evil, whatever
Right.
you say. So evil, let's not put evil into a category.
Right.
Evil is a demonic spirit.
Exactly.
And its manifestation of it goes throughout your whole life.
And your physical body.
Physical,
Right,
mental,
right.
spiritual,
Oh,
it
yes.
plays out. The disease, dis-ease
Right.
is evil.
Right.
Dis-ease.
You're not at ease at all.
Not at ease at all. But I will continue, and we will continue with this.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so amazing with the correlation of how you put that.
Yeah.
It gets all of the evil things out
Yeah.
of you. And I use olive leaf extract. I make my own. And the thing is that I haven't used the bark. I've used the leaves.
Yeah.
And I make a olive leaf, but the bark. So finish telling me your story.
Yeah. So for the ladies' cycle, it also helps. If they are not coming in the manner,
Okay.
that's the very same tree. Same way, boil the barks, drink morning, afternoon, late, or either morning and late.
Okay.
Then it put everything properly as it used to be.
Wow.
So if there is a disturbance by anyhow, by other things, once you get this tree, then everything changed back to normal.
Now, was there any side effects that you noticed from that when you were going through the 2 days, or was there any strange feelings mentally or physically that you felt?
After using it,
Yes. Or during the time you were using it?
I'm still using it as I have got water in the house.
You're
after
good.
boiling, I'm
Okay.
still using it. So
Okay.
the only thing you have to avoid to do is not to take much.
Right.
So dilute it as much as you can, but you still have to taste that
Yes.
that bitterness of it.
Okay.
If the bitterness is gone, it means it's no longer working.
Okay.
So it doesn't taste as sweet. So
Yes.
it does have a
Now,
bitterness taste,
and
but
on our other
you have to
tab that we
dilute
have,
it
you'll find
if you want
more
to use it.
detail on a lot of these herbs. We don't want to take up everything because it's not about just herbs today. We're talking about the whole trip and the things and the resources, valuable resources, valuable to whatever you may be looking for, but valuable to us. What we were looking for, we were able to we found the Garden of Eden, which
Yes,
is
we
the
did.
whole Africa.
Yes.
We have our Back to Eden Garden channel here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that is amazing because we do a prototype, and my husband's designs on this garden was something that Yahweh gave him, the whole design to build. And then so our garden is year round, and you'll see that on our channel, our Back to Eden Garden channel.
Right.
It's and even in the wintertime we're gardening, so we're never without. And that was the whole point, is that we never wanted to be without the foods that our Creator made.
Right.
From winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever that can be substance for us to be able to have live foods. That's what we go with. It's not about just eating food for that tastes well, but we eat to live.
Right.
With things that are nutritional, that's going to benefit our bodies.
Yeah.
So speaking of food, I'm going to move on. That also we were inspired by the food.
Yes, we were.
Woo, were we inspired by the food?
That food was so good.
I'm going to take a deep breath on that and say hallelujah.
As much as we ate, you think that we would have gained weight?
No, we didn't. You know what? We did not gain weight. That's the crazy
at
thing.
all.
And it is not one of us. None of the 14. We ate at least 3 good meals a day. At least, I'm saying at least 3 good meals a day besides everything else. And the food was delicious. And it was so clean. And we didn't have side effects from them. Things that I could not eat here in the States, like cheese. I never touch cheese.
No, she doesn't.
I don't touch cheese.
In fact, she
I
has a
don't do
bad
dairy.
reaction.
And so I had cheese there. I had cheese a lot. I had cheese every morning on our first continental breakfast in the morning before we even left. This place, Shazamines, we had a wonderful meal there. I kept thinking about all the things that you could do with this, even bridal showers, girls' days. My husband was saying, I don't feel comfortable here, but you see, there's men there, and there are great chairs, and it's a man thing too.
It wasn't a lot of men.
But there was enough, and there was wonderful food. There was wonderful, wonderful food there again, and wonderful, beautiful desserts. So that was one of the restaurants that we got a chance to have.
This is Gary in Rwanda, and we are in South Africa. And this is like Stanton, right? Stanton. So I'll tell you what, go to G2 Read, Genesis to Revelation Epic Explorations, and follow our channel, subscribe, and like.
All right. And I ate. You know what? I love it. I don't want intimidation by it. I want to be new every day if I can.
Oh,
As
yeah.
long as I'm here and we're present,
Right.
it's good to be new, baby.
As our neighbor
That's
said,
right.
we're still vertical, right?
Oh, yeah. We have a neighbor, and he's in his
86.
86 years
Yeah,
old.
Jerry.
And he salutes us every day. And he'll go, I'm still vertical. You
Yep.
know, he lives on his own. He lives wonderfully on his
He
own.
does.
And he does everything he needs to do. He still works.
And he's present.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
present.
mentally he's
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
You know, he's not sitting in a rocking chair waiting for death to come. He's out helping his neighbors. He talks to us. You know, we've known him. He's like
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years.
They started out warring as neighbors.
Yeah, we did.
Because he's very straight. Looks like a German from the Nazi.
Yep.
And he now is the second pops.
Yeah.
You know, that's his, so we, life, you learn, you evolve, and you change.
Right. So yeah. Alrighty. Okay. So
So that's one of the places.
that we ate, and the other one that we ate is called
Is it Truffles?
it's Truffles.
I think it's Truffles that you have
An
here.
excellent restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, there are so many places we went. We didn't. I don't think you have Cliffs of Joe GZ's or that other one, but this one was a beautiful restaurant. Now
sorry.
this was right at our villa,
Right.
at Athol House Place, and this
All right,
was.
everyone. We'll make this short and sweet. Heavenly Father.
And we there for Thanksgiving.
Yes, we were.
Hold on, sorry, I'm putting my shoes back on.
Okay. Heavenly Father Yahweh, we thank you for the many blessings that you've given us. You've seen us here safely and helped us enjoy the family and helped us to understand what meaning of love is in a family, because we are a family of yours. We thank you for the safety you provided, the food, the people here that provided the food, our brothers who are among us or like us. We thank you, Heavenly Father Yahshua. So help us to have a good time tonight. Enjoy one another in the name of Yahshua Messiah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Oh, and this food was divine.
Okay.
And we had so many wonderful meals. The meals went on, and everything that we had on our little taste test budget there, we got the food, the files of foods. And I don't know if he's going to show you any of the foods up close.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. But things that I thought I should try, I didn't have a fear about it. Even some of the indigenous food there.
Springbuck.
Yeah. Springbok.
Springbok.
Okay, second night in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And I think
And we are watching where we're going. I tripped over here last night.
This is
And
the first night.
mhm,
So this
yeah.
is the first night, and this is the night that our son had
See that part.
his proposal,
Right.
and we had a wonderful
Here
feast.
we are.
And I say this
Again,
food
another dinner with our
was
family.
we were again like royalty.
Hey, hey, hey.
This is the Thanksgiving right here.
Mm-hmm. Good evening, gentlemen. Oh, y'all did yourself.
And
Yeah, y'all did. Yeah.
amazing. And, you know, I didn't realize how much I
So we have corned
we
bread,
had trout, we had trout one
potato,
night,
flour baked.
and that trout
We have
was so
some
delicious.
roasted potatoes.
You know,
We have Cajun chicken, lobster thermidor.
Beautiful.
This side we have stuffed
Is,
salads,
Oh my goodness.
leg of lamb, and then there's salads that side.
This is outstanding.
So this is beetroot and some strawberry salad. This one is pumpkin, some seeds, and some fennel seeds. These are our greens. And then this side we have quinoa salad. And then this one is a smoked tuna salad.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you.
outstanding. The chef,
Okay, another night in South Africa. It was a wonderful dinner.
Over here, go over here, and then we're going to do a little prayer real quickly.
Okay.
all right. So that was our, like I said, that was our holiday meal. We had a holiday meal every day, but we called that one the Thanksgiving meal because we were there for Thanksgiving, right?
Yes. And
So
our last Thanksgiving, we were in Tahoe.
yeah, that was a different dinner, and we'll have to do that on Epic,
Right.
on our channel. But the holiday meals and the food were just wonderful. But most everything with the food led to the people.
Right.
The people, we were inspired by the people. All of the people there, the attitudes of people still being courteous,
Yes.
gracious, and we're talking about every color, just people that were actually just living their lives,
Right.
their best lives, not worried about anything else. And you can tell that they still had a smile in their heart. And
I want to say something. You know, in America, we have gotten used to having so much available to us. Every technology, every whim we think of here in America. And you still see people miserable. Even the rich here in America
Yeah.
are miserable.
Yeah.
Their lives are displayed all over the public from every media. And you would think with all the gluttony that America has, these people who are rich, why are they having so many problems? Why are they divorcing so much
and
But-
even people in the streets.
in the streets? But Africa,
Yeah.
to go to an African school and you know they don't have
No.
the resources they need. These children are laughing and smiling. The teachers are smiling and happy. These people's lives to us would be substandard. But to me, they're far above what we live today.
And the marketplace.
Oh, yes.
In the marketplace is when they were working, you know, and they're selling whatever they're selling, whether it's clothing, whether it's food, or either seeing people walking on the streets. They're walking, but they don't display that anger
They
or
don't.
that despair. And we're saying, oh, feel sorry. Feel sorry for what? You don't see that. You see them, and when they reach their destinations, they still have courtesy. When they're making, you know, not even, some of them are getting paid, you know, the wages are just extremely low. And you're saying, well, you know what, we would have a fit
We
over
would.
here.
We would.
And the same thing with the kids, the children, you know, they're playing and they're happy without the convenience of phones and iPads. And I do see that now they're adopting a lot of our ways. And I'm not going to say I don't see a lot of the American, the things from America and other countries, but at the same time, they still value the things that should be important. And I see that, and
Right.
that makes me happy. You know, and I'm hoping that the people that are migrating back there, I hope that that's something that they will make sure that that is actually preserved and saved, because we have enough of it, and it has destroyed families,
Yes.
generations, from the elderly to the youngest. You know, every time you look at the news headlines, I didn't see headlines over there. And even though they said there's a lot of crime, the crime is petty. There's not so much as, you don't see people killing each other. Every day I'm looking at Newsbreak or something on my phone pops up as something hideous.
Right.
24/7. You don't even have to look for it. It's just there and it's available. And I felt at peace there with people. The people were amazing, and the people were, you know, willing to help you. In South Africa, they're willing to be very inviting and intriguing. They're, you know, they talk about different things, but at the same time, even though they're speaking English, you can relate to it and you can see their family, the essence of their families.
Right.
Yeah. This is the pool.
No, go stand on the sideboard. Go stand on the sideboard.
Yep, thank you.
Actually playing what they call soccer, which is our football.
Right.
There, and these are elementary kids.
And our son-in-law Steven Jackson is a retired NFL player,
Yeah.
and so I think he played for the Patriots. Patriots, the Chiefs. You can look him up on YouTube. But yeah, we went there. It was
Falcons too.
The Falcons. Mm-hmm. This was a debut, a media blitz for him, and also our daughter, his wife, included my wife so that she can go ahead and have her book to be exposed in the 2 schools in Africa. So and you'll see a clip of that too. So let's take a short time to look at our son-in-law playing and look at the demeanor of these children, how happy they are with no iPads.
Our 2 oldest grandchildren are out there with them.
Kingston and Skylar. Yeah.
They're there playing the soccer game. But the kids were immediately being receptive, and that's the thing about it. The children were
so
receptive.
loving, yeah.
The teachers were receptive, and this song, and I hope you guys hear this song that the children are singing. It was so touching. So hopefully you'll hear them singing.
Yeah. Good.
Good, you will?
Yep. Okay.
Not my game.
Little granddaughters, they were just dancing to the music. They got into it.
They play baseball. It does. I miss Africa so much. Yes.
You know when you hear happiness.
Yes, you
can
do.
hear it in the voices.
Right.
And that's what does me well as being a child care owner previous years, and my school was located across the street from another elementary school.
Right.
That one thing that motivated me the most when I drove into work every morning was hearing the children across the street at the school, and also in the center.
Right.
The laughter of children. Something is thriving when you hear the voices,
life.
the voice of angels, the children, the angels, and you can hear it in their voices.
Right.
Yeah, and I could hear it in every one of those children. I got a chance to talk to one little boy. He came, he was curious, and he wanted to sit beside me. And he was asking me about my family. And he was speaking a little bit of language, and he was telling me that he had a brother. He was 9. And the conversation was so intimate, but he was genuinely curious. And he sat next to me. I felt so honored. Just,
it was
an honor to be there. It was a true honor to be there amongst our people.
Yes.
And to see the brightness in those kids' faces. And I was honored that my son-in-law with his vast career and that he had the time with his nonprofit to go over there. They made huge donations. Him and my daughter, they made donations to the schools, as well as they donated my books
Yes.
to the schools as well. And they had shirts and backpack things
Yes,
and other things, and that is through his nonprofit. And again, these are the things that I've always dreamed of doing. So I'm happy to be a part of, and my husband is happy to be a part of doing things that we are doing now in our later season in life, and it's truly enjoyable. Those were things we were inspired by, like I said, by the people. There was also a dance troupe.
Yes.
I'm not sure if my husband can show you that
I can.
clip of the dance troupe that's there.
I wanted to say too, even when we're gone,
Yeah.
you know, and
We're translated.
We're translated.
We're not going to be talking about this much, but yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying that what we do, we hope we have subscribers. We hope you subscribe to our channels.
Yeah.
We need your help and involvement in our travel lives, so that you can also be brought content that is not on main TV and that is being polluted. But at the same time, what my wife and I are doing is a legacy for our grandkids.
Absolutely.
This is why we have drives, external drives. We save our materials because whether we are in Africa, Africa still living, but gone out of the United States, they can look at their mommies and daddies' devices and say, I want to see Nana and Papa. I want to see us when we were in Africa. I want to see us when we went this place. So we hope we get subscribers. We're not doing this because we want to make money. It's nice if that happens.
Right.
But this is so our grandkids and our children can see the lives that we live, so that they can grasp hold of that divine gift that's given them to travel and to see other cultures.
And my husband is so right. I'm so glad you stopped to take the time to say that, because what this is all about is legacy. It's legacy, it's legacy, legacy. It's connecting. We were able to finally go back home to the motherland. And the legacy is that we get a chance, as being the mature, the seniors in our family,
The elders.
to be able to share this while we yet still have vibrance, life,
Yes.
full of ideals. Because, you know, in America, what we're so used to doing is we have cutoffs. We only see you if you're famous. We have all of that in our family. We're not famous. We're famous for being people.
Right.
We're famous for being loved and loving people. I'm famous in my own right, and my husband is famous in his own right, for loving people, loving children. Yeah, we are. For loving children all my life, dedicating my life to that. But this is now a new venue that I'm able to continue to share that love through my books. I have 7, 8 books, children's books, educational. I'm definitely qualified to do what I do, and to tell you that it's love that's going to heal this world. And so there's more parents like us and grandparents like us. It's more children that's like us, and grandchildren like our grandchildren. So we want to inspire families to come together. We have all of these little designated pockets of, you see the kids, but you don't see the parents. You see the parents, but you don't see the kids. You see the grandchildren, but you don't see, and I love to see grandparents looking great. I love to see them doing things, but we all come from a connection. And how can you connect to your ancestors when you deny the people that you are already here with?
That's true. That's true.
I love the things that people are saying. Oh, you know what? I'm speaking to my ancestors, but you don't talk to your brother or your sister.
Right.
But you don't talk to your mother or your father. We have to start connecting the dots here with the people that will allow us. I'm not saying the ones, because everybody's not friendly. We all got issues in our families, and I'm not trying to tell you I'm here to solve the world's problems. But what we want to show you, that there is still families going on as families. And if you're one of them, or you would like to be one of them, maybe there's a place for you to help do what we're doing, or join us. Give us questions and things that you want to talk about. But what we're here to show is foundation is everything. Foundation is what I was founded on. I came from a family of 7. I'm the youngest of the 7. And those siblings, my brothers and sisters, the 6 that are still here, and they're all here still, and I'm thankful for that. I'm in contact with every one of them. My mother and father were very strong figureheads in our family, and my mother and father were married and stayed married until my mother passed away first, and then my father. But they put that foundation in me for me to start a child care. And at the age of 27, I started it, and I didn't end this journey until 2 years ago?
2 years of COVID.
Yeah, after COVID. Well, we went back after COVID, but I had so many other things on the fire that I realized that, you know what? I'm in my 60s. I'm here and I'm ready. And even though, you know, this may not be the right time, but I think it is because I felt the need to transfer that energy into some other place while I still had it.
Not just that, you were a herbalist while you owned your
Absolutely.
own preschool and daycare.
I was actively being
Exactly.
an herbalist because I was able to help every parent from the time that I've been open since 1987
Mhm.
until now. I was helping parents, mothers, whether it was with their child care fees, whether it was with dignitaries.
Mhm.
You know, I've kept everyone's children from the dignitaries. They may not ever want to give the accolades and flowers, but I give myself those.
That's
I've
right.
kept every dignitary's child. I've kept regular children, and all of them were the same to me. It wasn't because you had a status. It was the same care. I've kept celebrities' children,
Mhm.
but the care is to be that connection of being someone from the same culture and the same tribe. That is why Africa is so important to me,
Yes.
because I feel that ancestor,
Mhm.
the pull and the calling to say that I'm still family. This still family. I still communicate with some of the children that I was in contact with over 40 years ago.
Mhm.
And these children are my children, and I see them on the different platforms, and we still talk. And my children, those children have children now.
Mhm.
And, you know, so it's amazing that we're going to continue this, but now we're doing it what?
Mhm.
Online.
Online.
And
Yeah.
my husband is a videographer, and the thing I would like to say about him, when I met him, this was not my first marriage, but when I met him, I had put on my door at the center that there was cameras being surveillance now, and it's so funny. And I didn't have cameras. I just wanted to put the threat there because, you know, I was a single mother for so many years,
Mhm.
and divorced single mom, and it's hard, you know, raising children, but I wanted to make sure I had the best. So when he saw that, he says, I'm going to multiply you 16 times.
Yeah, 16 times.
And
Give you 16 extra employees.
He gave me 16 extra employees that I had eyes everywhere. I thought I was the baddest thing in town. And it was amazing because I was able to multiply myself and multitask, and that moved me to a different level. And we kept going with these levels. And with all of the things that he knows about technology, even though he said he's a newbie at this, he's only new at the fact this was his career also as a photographer for some years, and quite prestigious that he did in Lansing, Michigan.
Lansing, Michigan. I was a photographer for the magazine, Forum magazine. Also, I had a press pass that the sheriff department gave me, so I shot crime scenes, community events. I started out shooting weddings, high school events. I had my own lab. So back then, before we had digital, I was doing using C41 based film, Cellulose film, and so I had my own black and white developer, color developer. I developed all my films. So
Right.
That gave me a love for not just photography, but astronomy. So now I have a telescope in our shed that
He's an astronomer as well.
I'm amateur astronomer, but
he loves it.
But I love it.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with being an amateur anything. I like so many things. I'm an amateur at everything, but the thing is that you get to experience
Oh,
these
yes,
things
I do.
and do that. And what we want to bring to you is to say that you're never too old and you're never too late. I
Right.
follow people. There's one lady that I'm following right now. She's a holistic doctor, but she's also a doctor. She's 102 years old.
Mhm.
And her ideals are simple. They're clear. I follow quite a few people. I don't
You
care
do.
what color you are, where you come from.
She's a great researcher.
I'm interested in the fact that you have something to give, something to offer. And we have to understand we all have something to give,
Yes.
something to offer. And if we let politics or people shut you up and you don't do it because you have fear and condemnation, then what are we being useful for? You might as well say that, you know what, I am ready for the grave. I'm not going to be ready until I'm there.
That's right.
And so the point is, until then, I will be found doing.
Mhm.
We will be found doing.
Right.
So we're dedicated to bring you some of the things that we want to share with you. It's not just for us, but it's for our family, it's for our children, it's for our grandchildren, it's for anyone that aspires to have more and abundance. And I do want my husband to show you these dancers before we move from that.
Yeah, we will. But I want to say something. My wife has been very humble. Her practice of herbal medicine spans back decades, and she incorporated in our schools, in her school. And I was blessed to be her husband to come on, later in the event of her owning her own business, being the CEO, the CFO. All the parents who knew my wife brought children who were very challenged in trying to learn.
Not all, but some of them.
A lot of them. And
there was a lot.
And
There was
my
some.
wife, maybe some schools didn't want the children, my wife turned them around. They graduated not just with honors in her school, but they graduated with honors in public school. And we would be out, sometimes shopping, whatever we were doing, and these students would walk up to her and were expressing their gratitude about how she brought them from an educational foundation that they are now excelling in public schools. And in some circles, in public, at least with the parents, they called her the child whisperer because of her ability to be an advocate for children. So her practice of herbs to keep the kids healthy when they weren't healthy at times, in their meals, these kids were thriving physically and mentally. So, she's been humble, but her book spans back from her practice or her love for children more than 25 years ago. She wrote the book Logos of Africa. I said to you earlier that on our front door, when coming up to the door, there was an image of Africa, but you could never see it until it got wet. When it got wet, you seen the continent of Africa. This was Yahweh telling us, I'm going to take you to a place. I'm going to do a work in your day that you know not of, though it be told to you.
Yes.
I think that's in Isaiah somewhere. So, we are blessed to know that we are being directed. Our steps are being ordered by Yahshua to go where we have to go, to say what we need to say. So hopefully you'll grasp this and say, you know what? I think I want to go live in Africa too. I want to get out of America. Somebody say, damn America, but I want to go to where I'm free, where there's grass and there's trees, there's animals, there's healthy eating, fruits in your yard. That you buy property, you got fruit trees in your yard.
If you don't move to Africa, that's going to be your personal decision.
Exactly.
That's for every individual. But to say that I'm going to live with the same mediocrity
yes,
every day, and say that I will not do anything to change, but I hate my situation, or I don't like what I see, I would say at least go and get out of the same old thing that you do and try to do something different for a vacation, to find yourself, to meet other people that are like-minded.
Right.
But to stay in this, we visited lots of other countries too.
Yeah, we have
been traveling, and those are vacations, and I love those vacations. They have not been something that I was sad about, and I will take other vacations. But to go to Africa as being an African
right.
that is in America,
right.
and never know any more about your history, your culture, than slavery, because that is all that we know. We proceeded from slavery to where we are.
Right.
And for me being a teacher, I hated Black History Month. I still do. I hate the fact that we squeezed in 29 days of saying, try to do everything you could, and I, even as a child, participated in soul food dinners and everything, that was our accomplishment. You should be able to celebrate who you are 365 days out of the year,
yes.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
right.
about your life and who you are and whom you belong to. And we have been denied that for so long that it is a pleasure and an honor to me to say, yeah, I want to shout it to the heavens. I'm not doing this because I'm the only person that's doing this. There's millions of YouTubers. There's millions of people that have been traveling. We've been finding people that have been living over there, living well since the 60s.
Yes.
And the thing is that now connecting the dots for me, because maybe my head was in the sand, because I was tunnel vision,
me
just
too.
working one way. I'm not knocking anybody. So don't think that this is to say that, oh, you guys we're everything. We're not everything. We're just shedding the news. If there's anybody that we know that we can influence to say, go. For us, South Africa was a soft landing because it's more of our culture there. As far as I was concerned, more people that spoke English. The English language is widely accepted, but there's so many other places like that. We're only touching the tip of the iceberg. And I do look forward to discovering all 54 countries. The books that I wrote were about all 7 of the continents, but in the continent of Africa, the 54 countries I'm interested in, because there's so much wealth. And when I say wealth, I don't mean just monetary. There is monetary and physical wealth, but the wealth of knowing your cultures, and actually even the true name of Africa is not Africa.
Right.
I just found out the true name of Africa, and there's more to come, because now I have a sense of placement, but for a person, when you don't know yourself, and there's only so much you can give.
Right.
Because you're giving from the directions of someone else that still doesn't know you.
Right.
And so I urge you, as my husband urges you, and I will tell you, it will be the best thing that you can do for yourself. Even if you decide not to live, that you should take that trip to go and see what you don't know and what you haven't seen.
And the lies have been told to you about Africa.
Right. Now, this was a troupe. I wanted you to see this dance troupe that was there. It's in Africa. This is just at one of the open markets.
Right. Still talking about cultures.
And this, yeah, we're still talking about the cultures. But, you know, as we see people here doing things like we have the step teams. My son was the captain of the step team. And when I tell you, I'm bragging on my son, he was the step captain of the Kappa League. Yes, Junior Kappa League. And when he was in high school, and the kids would go crazy when he would get out there. And when I tell you he was phenomenal, he would. I know I'm a mother saying this, and I can say it. So Usher, don't get mad at me. But he put you to shame, Usher. He put you to shame, literally.
Yeah, he would.
He's that phenomenal person now, and everything else he does. But I'll tell you what the step teams. Now I really understand how it originated. So the step teams, when you see them stepping in and what he would do with that team and him being the team captain, it was wonderful. And there was other groups they would go against, but I want to show you this clip because that's what it reminds me of. Local market.
Okay. Right, Nelson, the Devil's House. Okay.
Go inside the Mandela House. All right.
This is all the local market spaces.
And they're like that all over Africa, and particularly South Africa.
So we are going to do a little tour inside Mandela House.
Now, does that look like somebody that's unhealthy to you?
Very
does it look
athletic.
Like somebody that's starving to you? That does look like somebody that's illiterate to you?
No, not at all.
You know, so amazing. Again, I'm talking about the culture, the things that we've been. Those boys, young men, those young African men were fit,
young kings,
warriors, and they had this dance troupe, and they did this. And I'm saying, we're doing the same thing when you see the sororities, the step teams, and sororities and the fraternities, and they have those things. But the origin of it, to know that you can connect the dots to this was something that your ancestors,
from tribal Africa, our ancestors, warriors.
But you're not seeing people
kings,
drugged out. You're not seeing people that's not sure of who they are or what they are. You're seeing people that are really walking in the presence of the Almighty.
Yes.
And so I enjoyed that immensely. I enjoyed the connection because we blurred the lines in America so much that blurred lines is the only thing that we accept. And if you say one thing outside of that, you're now villainized. You're villainized to the point where you don't feel comfortable with, maybe you're like unsure. Maybe I shouldn't be this way. Maybe I should just be a soft person and go along with the status quo and everything. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see more, but we are probably trying to have to tone it down because our time is running out. But we still have a little ways to go.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Being an expat, I'm inspired, living in America, to be a Black African in America. I'm truly inspired by that, and by that, we're going to show you a little bit more, a few more clips that my husband have.
I'm going to talk about gold. I'm talking about minerals in
Gold.
Oh yes, in Africa.
The gold.
How it's been exploited by other nations.
Yeah.
And we have a small clip of the tour guide talking about this, about that. What we're telling you is that the hills
Are gold.
Are gold. They're gold.
They have gold hills that
You
they're
can
still
see
mining.
it in the soil.
You know, they're still mining them, and the crazy part is, I know they just put somebody in jail, one guy, because he crossed the line. He didn't take anything, but they have their own. The Africans, their gold is being mined by the Dutch, and
Yes.
the Chinese,
Mhm.
and these mines. I mean, and it's not a mine. These are actual just hills of gold. We're passing by, and you can see a gold hill, and he'll show you. But they have them all.
You know the expression someone said, when we die, we're going to heaven and there's going to be streets of gold. Well, there's actually gold hills,
Gold streets of gold right there.
land just
Yes.
filled with gold, tinted with the color gold.
Yeah, and it's gold, and you can't touch it, and it belongs to them. And so there is still separation.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
again, the whole world needs to be worked on. But I would rather do the work that I know that's going to actually be beneficial, because this is the Garden of Eden.
Right, it is.
The name, the
Cradle
name
of life.
The cradle of life. The actual meaning of Africa is
Eden. Mm-hmm.
The Eden, the Garden of Eden, and that's the true thing that I really found out. Akalon is the name, I think.
Mhm.
I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I'll get that for you.
It is needed by the world. So they quickly
Everybody.
drive all
Gary.
these people that were living in the area
From Genesis
out
to
of the area
Revelation,
by the barrel of
epic
blood.
exploration. We are now being toured by Nelson, taking us to the herb garden. So stay tuned and follow us.
So all of them were driven out to the area today called the Northwest, or known as the Rustenburg. So they occupy the land. So they declare themselves as the founder of the gold. So I don't know whether we are rewriting the history. Okay, so that is when many people, after it was announced as the discovery of gold of that time of 1886, started to take their trip to Johannesburg, which they decided to stay here and be part of the mining. So that is how Johannesburg started. So it was not known as Johannesburg, but it was named after three people that became the most famous people because of what they were doing. There was Johannes Joubert and Johannes Rissik and Johannes Stephanos Paul Kruger. So Joubert and Rissik were land surveyor and town planner. Paul Kruger was the president of Republic of ZAR. ZAR means the Zuid-Afrikaanse Republic. So South African Republic. That is Dutch. So that is when they named this whole city Johannesburg. Just before they came to this decision, it was known as Ferreira Town. So Ferreira was one of the miners who started the very first shaft in downtown Johannesburg. Then later comes to be known as Johannesburg City. Today, it is one of the biggest cities with cities within the cities. The same as Sandton City, it's a city within the city of Johannesburg. So this is how it is. But Sandton is one of our richest square mile in Africa, which is now our what is called business district. So this is where all the business are found. So it means in downtown, which was the old city where everything started, there is not many things happening there except that people are living, using it as homes, apartments, small offices, but not as much as before. So now Sandton is known as the place where everybody will be coming to work. A lot of top hotels found here in Sandton. including the very tallest building in Africa, which if you look at your left back to the city, you will see it. That is the Leonardo. That building is 254 meters high. Was completed in 2019. Just a month before COVID, it was opened. And then lockdown came, and then they closed it. And I have to wait up until it resumed. Sandton was named after two rivers. So there's a river here on the east side of the city called Sand, the Sand River. There is another river in the west known as the Bryston. So they cut Bryston into two pieces. They take the last piece and join it to Sand. And then now known as Sandton. That is where the name is coming from.
Did they create a dam?
Pardon me?
Did they build a dam?
There's no dam. No, there's no dam. It's just streams.
Just streams.
Yeah. So the way you have got reservoirs, yes, but not as an open dam.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Johannesburg as a whole, it's an area with too many people that are coming from different countries in the world. So,
Like us.
so I cannot say where are the people coming from. You just, from any country, people came here coming for gold. So the population is very difficult to tell how many people do we have here. So what I can be assured with is that we are sitting at an elevation of 1,800 meters above the sea level. But the population, if we go to online, we check the statistic, it tells us that people might be less than 9.5 million. We're talking about the cities, the surrounding suburbs, including the townships. But remember, we have got a lot of illegal immigrants that are coming from our neighboring states that are not recorded, are not counted. So we can call it half-half or half-plus. So when I do my own estimation, I can just say 20 million people might be found because nobody knows how many are these people that are here. So this is how Johannesburg is today. As you can see on our left, it is still a developing area. So a lot of buildings are coming in. So at every 2 years, if you are not here, when you come back, then there will be a big change. So during COVID, we were not here. When we come back, we found new buildings, new hotels, except Athol Place. Athol's Place was there. So there are many, many new buildings that we started to want to know about, who own it, what are they doing there. So it means once you leave this place for a short time, when you come back, then you will see the difference. So it means it is growing every day. So the Sandton itself, it is where the space is needed. So there is a very big high competition by companies approaching people.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had so much knowledge. It was a pleasure to listen to him.
Yes, it was.
We had very knowledgeable tour guides, which really helped.
Really blessed.
It was like being on a history, tour.
Channel
And everywhere we went, so we were attentive. Even the children were listening.
Mm-hmm.
We listened to get information and gain insight on the different provinces or areas that we were, going to. And we got a chance to go into the inner cities and then also the very well-to-do different places that's outside. So it was amazing. And then our last inspiration was we were inspired to do what? To continue to build.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
To build our relationship and start the process of being able to go back home. And whether we're going home to just visit, to have a second place, business-wise, whatever we're doing, we wanted to continue that connection. And you're going to show something from the school?
Yes, the school. As we said, she was blessed to read her book at two different African schools. One in Soweto, South Africa, where Mandela lived at. And the other one, I think, was either in Pretoria, South Africa. Mm-hmm. So here's a small clip.
Little bit.
This is Steven Jackson, our son-in-law, who
Well,
played NFL. He's
I was a
retired now.
football player, but American football.
This is what.
And that's one of that's her grandkids. For
Good
them.
morning, everyone. Good morning. You are so beautiful and so handsome. I'm so glad to be here today with you. Yes, believe it or not, I had a school like this in North America, in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I had children just like you. So I'm a teacher also for 35 years. I taught kids, I love children, and I always want to work with your what? Your mind and your imagination. So this is my book. It's called The Adventures of Lo on the Go. And these are my grandkids, so they have the books. They have the characters to the book. That's Lo, and that's the other character. His name is Herb. So we're gonna meet them in this book, okay? There's two books I have. The one that's from Africa, the Lo goes to Africa.
The book is 17.
And today I'm gonna read from North
And
America.
there's 7 books.
Okay, are you ready?
Who are ready?
Okay, so we're gonna use our imagination.
Well,
Right.
Make sure you turn on your minds,
Yeah.
because we're gonna read from this book, and we're gonna think about all the wonderful things that we can see, okay?
Okay, just story time then. Even though it's not according to the timetable line. So you go and sit down and listen to the story, fold your legs.
Look how.
Yeah, don't run. Short ones in front.
Short ones in front. You see how her,
Yes.
you know, I'm old school, and this is a way that I taught. I was just so impressed because I didn't know she was going to do that. As I finished my introduction, she was like, no, the process now, before you guys are going to turn around, she wants them to do what they needed to do. And of course, I don't understand the language, but they all push their chairs nicely under the
Right.
desk
Mm-hmm.
before they proceeded.
Very obedient children.
Yes,
Mhm.
the smaller ones in front to the bigger ones in the back. It's just amazing.
It is amazing.
And she did that without effort. I think she had a fan and she was
Did-
just sitting
didn't
there.
raise her
Didn't
voice at
raise
all.
her voice
At all.
at all. And she was like in charge of this class, the
Exactly.
mother, the teacher.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Don't push. You know what that? You're not short. Fold your legs.
Your legs. And that's my
Listen carefully.
the yellow shorts on.
Right. Arrow.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the beginning. This book was dedicated to my grandchildren, Journey. That's Journey right here.
They're
Please
ready.
don't stop what you are doing. Listen to the story.
Harlow right there. That's Jax.
Bring
My
her
oldest two.
children in.
So the butterflies were resting on the beautiful wildflowers.
One of the first things for us.
Right.
And our oldest of the
Oh,
youngest,
yes.
Journey, she actually had a question for them and for them to ask back. And that was spontaneous, that she decided that she wanted to participate
Right.
in the class activity,
It was good.
which
Mhm.
made my
So
day.
proud, yeah.
I was just like, you know, this is what we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for people to be people,
Right.
children to be children,
Right.
connections to be made. And that's what this is all about.
Exactly.
And so with our epic explorations,
Yeah,
Genesis from the
Revelation, explorations.
meaning from the beginning to the end.
Right,
This is
exactly.
what we're bringing you.
Mhm.
From the beginning to the end, explorations, partnerships, friendships, family, life connections, and this is what this is all about.
And again, you don't see these children with one iPad in this whole classroom.
No.
No iPads. And they're very happy. They're very grounded children. They're children who are present with each other, forming the relationships with each other and not with some electronic devices. This is what America has done to our kids, to our families. This is what we have done to our children. When you see this example in Africa, this is the way childhood should begin,
Yeah.
with children knowing about each other,
About
playing
each
and
other.
interacting with each other.
And they were playing outside. We got a chance to see them, so you're not looking just at them in the classroom.
Right.
We were watching the children play with each other,
Mhm.
not with things. Laughter with you seeing genuine smiles on their faces,
Beautiful
chasing one
smiles.
another, laughing and discovering things. Some little girl had water drops and she was pouring it over this bar that
Mhm.
was touching another drop, and I was like, she's really intrigued by this
And
because
she was happy.
scientific process of of things that we used to do with our imaginations
Right.
and playing with nothing and making it into something. children don't have a chance because everything is bought.
Exactly.
Everything is new and shiny. They play with it 10 minutes and then it's tossed out. And that's how we do relationships. We play with our relationships for 10 minutes and then we toss them away.
Right.
And that's what we're angry with the children, but we shouldn't be angry with the children.
Right.
We should be looking at the culture. We should be looking at the society
Exactly.
that perpetuates that relationships are nothing. Anything that you do, throw it out. Go see a psychiatrist for a day,
right.
and then get a brand new one. When you're done with that shiny new toy, toss it. We're being just taught this so easily without even understanding. The same thing with food. Nobody cooks. Oh, and the one thing I want to say, and this has nothing to do with that, is about the food.
Right.
You know, I didn't see a lot of vitamin stores there. And we went through. There were no vitamin stores and even herbal stores because you know what? They're getting their food from the source. And we don't understand, and I've been finding out a lot of what they call functional medicine that we talk about, because I'm segueing back into this, but, you know, the children, they eat nutritional food. Most of their foods and their traditional foods are come in the form of soups and stews.
Right.
We know that minerals never dies, and I got that from Dr. Sebi, and it was true, and I had to realize that we think cooking something means that you're boiling the nutrients out. Now, in the West, the slaves did the same thing because we were the ones that we had to be in the fields for 10 to 15 hours out of the day. So leaving a pot on, as my mother would call back in the day, I'm going to put a pot on in the morning.
Right.
And that's what we did. And that's even in my day with my parents, put the pot on in the morning. The pot was a stew or a soup. And it had every vegetable that they grew, greens, all these things that were going to give you strong. We all know that the slaves were called to be strong, strong back, and that's what they wanted. These buff looking, they call them bucks, you know, horrible names. And the girls the same way, they wanted them to be strong, but they were strong because of how they ate. We got away from eating foods like that. But the culture of Africa, even though our stews might be different, that's what they eat is a lot of those kind of things. The goosey soups and the different stews and the different meals and stuff, it's on that style. And these kids are used to that kind of food. Now, McDonald's is there and Burger King is present.
And Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But you don't see lines of people driving and going there because they got Americans there too.
Exactly.
But I'm hoping that the influence on eating the right foods, because that's why they don't need a lot of the extra things, because they're getting their food from the natural sources.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say about the kids. They don't see, you know, they may not even go to the dentist often. I don't know, but I didn't see kids with missing teeth.
Or white teeth.
And yeah, I mean,
bright eyes.
Yeah, their eyes are white and bright. Their teeth are nice and straight and clean. They use, a lot of them use the picks, the neem sticks too, for their teeth that have healthy gums. So many natural ways, but you see it instituted into a lifestyle. You know, just saying.
I want to say this also. There's been an emergence in the last maybe, I would say, few decades. So I don't have to be exact, and someone out there don't have to call me on it. But what I will tell you is that all these gardening shows that have come on are predominantly white. Somebody with a new technique to develop this way to garden and that way to garden. But unfortunately, I have to be truthful. Gardening didn't come from Caucasians. It came from Africa. They're the ones, and the Indians who were Inuits here in America, they're the ones who taught Caucasian people, white people, how to grow their food. So now you see all these famous shows on how to do gardening, and they don't take one iota of thought to say, you know what, we got this technique from our ancient ancestors of Africa, you see, or we got these from the Aztecs, how to plant this plant, or put this seed in the ground, or how to mend the soil. They don't get any credit.
Yeah.
You would think that these shows that are on now are something that they developed as far as growing food. Growing food came from Inuits, came from Africa, came from Mexico. See, indigenous tribes.
Yeah,
and,
Australians.
Right.
It's around.
And they don't get no credit. So Africa, they eat nutritious food that's dense with minerals and enzymes, macronutrients and micronutrients. So this is why these children are healthy. See, instead of being depicted of having flies on, stereotypical flies, and they're emaciated. You know, that happens some places in Africa, Sudan, but you have to understand that
that's
the
majority. Why it happened, though.
Right, but that's not why it's happening. It was the weather was engineered over there. They were taking their minerals. The rivers were cut off.
They were colonized.
They were being colonized, and they were given food that was detrimental to their health. See, so now we're seeing these kids thriving from the stereotypical news that Africa is a dark continent full of danger. That's not true.
No, it's not.
And don't believe it. Yeah. So you can go on YouTube and look at the real South Africa, look at anything Africa. Yeah, you're going to get the good, bad, and the ugly. No more that's in America.
But there's a lot of good.
There's a lot of good.
There's
it's
more
mostly
good
good.
than it is bad.
Thank you.
And before you start back up again, not when you said the foods, it's every culture. The only thing that we want to do, I'm not racist. My husband is not racist.
No, I'm not.
I love all people. The person we're talking about next door, it happens to be a Caucasian. And at the same time, you've heard them coin that phrase. I like black people. I'm going to say the same thing. I like all people that are truthful. But I'm not going to sit here. The thing that we have done is we have hit our heads like ostrich. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't matter or we can't talk about that.
Right.
This is the time out for not talking about the truth, because that's why we're all screwed up.
Exactly.
You don't talk about the truth and saying where this came from. You know, America's not ours in the first place.
It's not.
It belongs to the indigenous Indians.
Right.
And the Aztecs and the Hispanic people. We have taken, not we, but they have taken everything.
Right.
And taking it out of context, and then you're so confused that you go along with the lie too.
Exactly.
They say yes.
It's definitely a lie.
They had, they put the Indians on reservations.
Yes.
In their own country.
Right.
And the names, and you can see the names from here to wherever you go, the indigenous names, the true names that they should have been called.
Right.
And then Yellowstone and all of these places, they were not yours in the first place.
Redskin football team.
Listen, so I'm just saying there's been lies all the way around.
Perpetuated, yes.
If you feel like being a part of the lie, that's your business. And keep your business. And I don't have a problem with that. But I'm going to speak my truth. We're going to live our truth.
Yes.
And we want to live in the light, in Yahshua's light. I don't want to live in the dark and pretend that the world is just a good place and we're going to go along and believe the lie than the truth. So we're here to we're not going to take your time up. If you don't want to hear the truth, then you probably don't need to be subscribing.
Right.
But at the same time, we are here just for us and ourselves and for anybody else that's like-minded to say, we're here to share good stories, tell the truth, expose what we need to expose. And if there's some changes in that, that's a win.
All right.
That is a win.
Yeah.
We're just looking for wins in our lives, not for us, but also for the generations to come. We want that. And I think that is all that we're probably sharing today.
Yeah, I'm going to finish this clip.
Yeah, he's going to finish this clip, and then we'll talk about what's coming up. I'm so excited to see. They were just in time to see all the beautiful colored monarch butterflies headed to Mexico on the way to their migration. So these butterflies would get together in one place, and then they would lay their eggs, and then they would migrate all the way to another country. They would migrate to Mexico. This is Logos in North America. It's just beautiful. And then he decided he wanted to name all of the beautiful flowers that he saw up there. So he began to name the flowers. He said, I see echinacea, I see purple cone flowers, I see black-eyed Susans, and prairie flax. After they all walked throughout the beautiful meadows and enjoyed the woods. So in all of my books, there is always a narration of the life, the nature, the herbs, reflecting on the herbalists and the Lo and their adventures to look for the things that Yahweh's given us, the nature, the plants, the animals, and the friendships between this African-American little girl that also discovers her culture. Her herb is Eastern Indian. They decide to embark on all of these things. So this is what the books are about, and they also teach about love and unity.
Yes, they do.
And so we're sharing these books, and they're stuffables. There's a website. The website is Adventures of Lo, and you can see that. And also there's an educational game that's on.
Right, on Google Play Store. There's already an app that she has for her books, and one is currently being developed for the iOS devices or Apple devices. So that should be up very shortly. Then there's an interactive game that will also be going on Google Play Store that's in development now, and also on Apple. So stay tuned for that, and so that your children will have good material to learn about different continents, traveling, food, that my wife has developed. Like I said, she's been doing this for over almost 3 decades, developing these books. So also we have an online health store. It's called
The Herbal Triage.
The Herbal Triage. So go to herbaltriage.com, and there find wellness products that will help you actually to get better in your life. There's another one we're developing. It's Hologround.
Oh, Hologround is developed. That's one of our brands.
Right. So
That's a
we're
brand.
getting the website up. It's
Yeah.
been reconfigured now.
That's on sale on Amazon, though.
That's on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So Hologround products are being sold on Amazon. The books are being sold on Amazon. The game will soon be developed for Amazon for kids to play with Android devices. The app is also now currently on Google Play Store called Adventures of Low.
And the books are in all the major bookstores.
Books in
Barnes and
all-
Nobles, Walmart, Target,
Kindle. So you can get those books of hers, hardback and softback books.
Yes.
They're already being sold. Like I said, she's an accomplished writer and author. So stay tuned. Please get these books for your children. They will love them. We have them and we read them to our grandchildren, and they're very interactive. And the game itself causes them to think. It's Spanish and English for now, but we're getting more languages so that other children can also learn from these games.
Yes, language development is going on right now. And be sure where we talk about more about the herbs and more about the lifestyles. My daughter and I have the channel, The Epicurean and the Herbalist, which we just did a live. We did one, and it should be shortly.
Yeah,
once my husband is finished
doing editing. You're right.
That one should start coming out, and you'll see week-to-week footage with the Epicurean and the Herbalist as well. But we have a lot of information, and our most inspired thing that we're working on right now is to continue to build our relationships with you,
Yes.
our viewers. And even though we are just small, we are mighty. And even though we may not have viewers that we want right now, we know that in time, diligence, after 35 years of being in any career, you know
Right.
that it takes time. And we have the time right now.
We do.
So we're going to take the time day by day and remember that no mission.
It's impossible.
Yes. And we can do all things through.
Yahshua, who is the Holy Spirit.
That's right. So keep looking for us.
And I do have a saying, and it comes from the movie Shawshank
Oh,
Redemption with Morgan Freeman
Yes.
and the actor who played Andy Dufresne, who was accused of murder, who was innocent.
Yes.
He said, get busy living or get busy dying, but you can't do both.
Better get busy.
You better get busy.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Next Saturday at 11 o'clock, we'll come on again. And then as spring is now occurring, we also will be having
Our Back to Eden
our
Garden
Back to Eden
channel.
Garden channel also.
Yes, we'll be probably showing you our Back to Eden Garden channel starting next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday will be our live time. So we're going to come to you with some things we're doing in there. We do have new plants. We do have some new techniques that we're doing, and we're
Yes.
going to share those with you.
We do.
That's our back to the number 2.
Eden Urban Homestead.
And you can see that in the links too below.
All right, guys.
We enjoyed you.
We
Take
enjoyed you
care.
very much.
Enjoy the day.
All right. Take care, guys. Peace.